We're like, oh, we could get a couple grand to do some research for lighting, and that would help us out, blah, blah, blah. It said exempt industries were payday loan places, casinos, strip clubs, massage parlors, and cannabis.
Oh, jeez.
I'm well aware of the negative image of a doctor that recommends his patients to smoke. It sounds horrible, but I think cannabis through the lungs acts very differently than cannabis which is taken orally or in another manner.
I used this cream on him, just at my worst case scenario kind of thing, and treated him at noon, and he messaged me at 6 p.m. that night to say, like, I'm still not in any pain.
It's Reefer Madness, the podcast, with Trevor and Kirk.
Kirk, we're back.
Hey, Trevor, how's it going?
I am well. I'm a little unshaven because I'm out at the lake. As we'll talk about this a little now. I had to do a little bit of sandbagging out here, but since we were last talking to people, goodly chunks of dolphin went underwater.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you, how is the lake? The lake must be high.
The lake is high, but it's nowhere near the damage we had in town. For those of you not from around here, our hospital got wiped out, like literally 5 feet of water into the basement. Many
it's a regional referral center too, so the whole region is without a hospital.
Yeah, and a major highway between us and sort of the next big town north, Swan River, got wiped out and is almost re-repaired. And yeah, I got a impromptu personal meeting with the health minister. Uzoma Asaguera was in Dauphin to do a virtual town hall, but before that happened to be hanging around the pharmacy recording something, came in and said hi, which we appreciate. But yeah, Dauphin went starting July 1st, had a whack of water in many people's basements, many businesses. You and I were unaffected ourselves, but we know lots of people who were very affected.
Yeah, it's sort of survivor's guilt here. But yet, this part of the province was underwater a month ago, and now, what other parts of the province is burning. So we've got floods and fires. Yeah. But hey, we should be talking about cannabis.
Sure, let's go for a happy thing, 420. So for those of you who don't know, April 20th is sort of a traditional day to, we'll say, celebrate all things cannabis. Kirk, you were one province over in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan on 420. What were you doing there and who were you talking to?
Yes, I think we've mentioned this in the more recent past episodes, is that I took a road trip in April and gathered a whole lot of stories. And this is me now taking what we have on the shelf and putting it together. So today, in transparency, Trevor and I are going to record 3 episodes today. So this is the start of a series of episodes. So I might as well start this now, Trevor, for all 3 of the coming episodes. What we're doing is we're reviewing an archive of conversations I've had. These are cold calls. And when I walk into these cold calls, I walk into businesses, dispensaries, and I identify myself as a registered nurse collecting stories for our podcast. As soon as I introduce myself as a registered nurse, I make myself vulnerable, and I also make the guest vulnerable, because I have to start following my professional code of ethics about how we gather stories and then how we publish the stories, right? So I'm saying this because there's an implied consent, an actual consent. When I ask somebody to record a story, I put my phone in front of them, they talk, and then I hand them my phone and I get them to sign their name or put their name on the title of the recording. So, I don't have them signing any forms, but there's an implied consent. But there's also an implied consent that some of these stories I will not tell. So I'm going to tell the audience that we have gathered stories from my trip, but there's stories that will not be told today for a whole lot of reasons. One of my goals, Trevor, is I want to create theater of the mind. I want people to be listening to these stories in their cars, at home, and they can hear the ambient noise. So there's a lot of ambient noise in these stories. And I want the stories to be relevant. So unlike what we've done in the past, where I sort of gathered a whole bunch of stories as I'm going down one highway, these next 3 episodes are going to be a blending of a bunch of stories from the trip. So there's no chronological order of when I did it. They're just themed. Right? So the first theme, as you say, is 420. Kirk is leaving Dauphin on 420 and hitting every dispensary I can on the way to Moose Jaw from Dauphin. So it's about a 5-hour, 6-hour trip in Van Hoot. I make it into a 10-hour trip, and I ironically could not gather a story from any dispensary between here and Moose Jaw. I walked in, they said, hello, happy 420. Hey, can you give me a story? No. So I got no stories. But I end up in Moose Jaw. I'm at the 420 celebration, Trevor, and this is the only advertised 420 event that I could find on my route of travel. So who do we meet? We meet the organizer of the Moose Jaw 420 event. And we're going to talk to him, and we're going to talk to another individual I met at the event. And then we're going to jump to Alberta and go into Diamond Valley.
Okay.
So that's the story.
No, that sounds good. So let's start with someone you said had an interesting name for the organizer of 420 in Moose Jaw. And what was his name again?
Yeah. He's Sean Francis Drake. He is a performer,
a DJ,
and he goes by the name of Kirk Cobain. Now I could find Sean Francis Drake's Facebook page, so I will link you to his Facebook page, but I could not find Kirk Cobain. Anyways, this is him talking about 420, how he organized this event, and some of his thoughts about consuming cannabis in public, and let's just go to his story and listen to it.
All right, listen to Kirk Cobain.
Hi, my name's Sean Francis Drake, aka Kirk Cobain. My music is on all major streaming platforms worldwide, by the way. But yeah, 420 is always great for me. Always.
Okay. But you organized this event in Moose Jaw. You were part of it?
Indeed, yeah. We've been organizing and doing this event now. I think this is the 16th year that we've been doing it here, and it's been going pretty good.
Okay, good. But you're expecting more people later in the evening?
I'm hoping that more people come in the evening. Yeah. It's not a bad turnout so far, though. We've had constant people throughout the whole day in and out, so that's a great thing, definitely.
Yeah. So is this organized as 420 Moose Jaw? Do you have an organization behind you, or are you just doing it?
Just 420. We've just been doing it for, like I say, 16 years, and it's just me and a couple buddies. We decided, hey, let's put on this show and play some music, and this is what it's growing into.
So what does it take for Moose Jaw? Do you have to get a park permit? Yeah,
definitely. You got to get your permits. You got to get the insurance. You got to get all your I's dotted and your T's crossed, and make sure that everything's good. Like I say, 16 years ago, we'd go in, pay $25. They'd give us the key, and that was that. Now, you pay the $25 for the key, plus $250 for the rental, plus $500 for the event insurance. So it's a lot more.
Oh, yeah. It becomes. So how do you finance it?
We were sponsored by many other people before in the past,
right?
And our one sponsorship, who sponsored us for 7 years, up until the last minute, they said they were going to sponsor this year, and then they backed out. That was Spirit Leaf of Moose Jaw, and they usually sponsor us, but they backed out last minute.
So talking about 420, right? You've been doing this for 16 years. When you started it, what was the reasons for starting 420 in the first place? And that's 16 years ago. What was the reasons?
The reasons were to protest the prohibition laws on cannabis. I've been medical for about 14 years, and that gave me some freedom. But I know a lot of my friends didn't have that kind of freedom until the dispensaries opened. And really, it's not really much freedom even with them dispensaries, because there's a whole lack of new laws. But yeah, back then it was all about the protest and trying to keep the plant free,
And what's it about now?
Now it's about peace and love, and let them know that we're still, here, and we don't agree with a lot of the laws that they've got on this plant now. because there's like 50 some laws and stuff you can get charged with now. Before it was like possession, that was it, right? Or possession for the purpose. And now they got a whole window of things they can charge you with, right?
Right. So more laws to make it. Irony is that they made more laws to legalize it.
Yeah, and I was a member of the Saskatchewan Green Party, and we always wanted to decriminalize it.
Yeah.
Just take the criminal aspect out of it, leave it the way it was, right? Let all the mom and pops in the business keep running the business. But this is, the way I see the business, it was a takeover. A very evil takeover as well. All the people in high school that were telling you, no, drugs are bad, you can't smoke this, don't smoke cannabis, drugs are bad. Now they're like, drugs are good, but you can only buy them from us, man.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
Okay, so is 420 representing still the freedom of the plant then?
It definitely represents freedom of the plant and freedom of choice. Like, I'm glad that we are allowed to grow it as well. Like, we have the 4 plant. If you're a normal citizen, I'm allowed to grow 110, but I'm glad.
Do you grow?
Oh yeah, I grow. I'm glad that I can, and I'm glad that they let everybody else grow too.
Yeah.
Because Canada, it's not too bad, really. The only thing I don't like is all the other laws that came with it.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about Saskatchewan. I'm from Manitoba, and in Manitoba they legalized cannabis in 2018, but they only legalized it for domicile consumption, and only if you owned your domicile, or if the renter gave you permission for the domicile. So you're not allowed to consume cannabis in any public place in the entire province, right? So in Saskatchewan, what is the consumption laws?
I think the consumption laws are probably the same. That's why I don't partake in 420 ever since the legalization of it, because in my mind they're waiting for me up the hill for me to be driving while intoxicated, right?
Right, okay.
So yeah, that's why I don't partake in it anymore. Right. I wait till I get home to indulge.
Right.
A lot of people here indulge in it, and I haven't seen any tickets given out ever. And we've had cops down here always. Like I say, they were down here today too.
But in Saskatchewan, you're not allowed to consume cannabis outdoors in a public place?
I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure that you're not allowed to, but on 420, they just look by it, you know.
But you think you're being watched right now?
Well, they definitely were here in the morning for sure. They might be watching right now too. 1 second, I just got to put this track on.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Okay, so he's walking back to the keyboards, and he's changing the track for the young man. Yeah, so there's about, 75, maybe 100 people here. We're in a natural amphitheater in downtown Moose Jaw. Boom. Hey, what's the name of this park?
The name of this park is Crescent Park.
It's a beautiful amphitheater. Is it used lots?
It's used quite a bit. Not as much as I'd like to see it being used, but it is used quite a bit.
Okay. Is there anything about 420 I should have asked you? Any other questions you want?
No, but more like a statement. 420 is kind of like bringing people together. We have alcohol, which takes people apart. Causes fights and disruptions when you go out to a bar. We want togetherness. We want to show people that you can come out, have a good time, not have fights, not have any, and if we do have a small discrepancy, people are going to just leave and walk away. They're not going to have a fight and anything, so that's what I like to see.
So, you can't go wrong with, and I was a big Kurt Cobain fan back in the day, so I appreciate the Kurt Cobain reference. But he wasn't the only one you were talking to at 420 in Moose Jaw. Where are we going next?
Yeah, I gathered a few stories. The one I'm pulling out is now Angel. Angel was on top of the amphitheater. This particular theater is in a sort of a valley, and then there's seats up the top. So I'm up the top, I'm meeting people, I'm talking to people, and I meet this group of people, and there's a little intimidation because they're all sitting around in a gather, and they may or may not have been consuming their medicine. And I wander in and go, "Hi, I'm a nurse. I want to tell a story." Angel, a couple of people in the group told me to just flip off.
Fair enough.
Angel actually drew me in. Yeah, good enough, fair enough. What the hell? But Angel drew me in. And I find her story really compelling, Trevor, because she speaks about being a medicinal user of cannabis shopping at rec shops. So let's hear her now.
Near and dear to our hearts. Let's listen to.
Yeah, but
Angel.
again, as a registered nurse, you'll hear me ask her if I can go deeper into it. So yeah, anyway, so this is another story I gathered on 420 in Moose Jaw. Please introduce yourself and tell me a cannabis story.
My name is Angel, and I've been smoking weed for 20 years due to back pain, body pain, possibly having lupus for the last 20 years that I didn't even know I had. I had to ended up spending 8 years in a walker, unable to walk due to bad doctoring in this town, which is the terrible part. They made me live 6.5 years with my hip dislocated.
So are you saying that cannabis helped you?
It helped me in many ways because all the other opiates and everything that they gave you, I was on everything under the moon. I quit 6 years ago, only been smoking weed.
So how did you guide yourself through that? Who did that for you? Did somebody?
Me, myself, and I.
So I
just started smoking weed.
And you dumped all the pharmaceuticals.
Yep.
So when did you start getting use of your limbs?
I started getting use after 1.5 years of just being on the weed.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
That's a cool story. Are you using a practitioner or just self-managing?
So I was medicated and given a prescription in the doctor's office. I'm to do 2 grams a day.
Okay, so this is
just
cannabis.
to handle the pain. And I get my weed at the pot shops.
Okay. But you talked to a doctor that's familiar with cannabis, and they gave you a prescription for cannabis.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And if they asked, have you told them about what you told me about?
What I go through?
Yeah.
This is my life.
But the doctors
Nobody
know
else. The doctors know about my whole life.
Cool.
And it has been terrible.
Okay.
As a bigger person, you automatically get labeled as obese.
Yeah.
And that's not fair.
This is a good news story for me because what you're telling me is that you are using the medical cannabis system, but you're buying it from the recreational stores. But you are a medicinal user. You have a license.
Yes.
Thank you for that story.
No problem.
So Kirk, like you said, you talked to a lot of people, but the last story you're going to share from 420 in Moose Jaw, well, not technically in Moose Jaw, last 420 story, were Grace from Mountain Air and Duncan from Organogram, and they. You asked them what they thought about 420, and they gave you some differing opinions.
Yeah. I actually made the wrong turn. I'm trying to get in. I'm trying to follow the crow to get to Crow's Nest Pass, and I turned right. I ended up in Diamond Valley, beautiful little community, beautiful Alberta mountain cattle country. Right this is where I'm getting stopped and being asked to sign petitions for the referendum that's happening in Alberta. So this is definitely deep South Alberta country, and I'm in Mountain Air Dispensary, and I'm talking to the manager of the shop, the dispensary, and also Duncan, who happens to be a cannabis rep, and you named the business there. So yeah, I like how we move the conversation of the importance of 420. I'm just going to leave it for the listeners to listen.
Sounds good.
I'm Grace. I'm the manager. I've been working in the industry for 5 years now. I think there's a cool day to celebrate it, and some people celebrate it in a better way than others.
Okay. But what are we celebrating in 420?
I think celebrating just cannabis.
We're celebrating
the freedom of cannabis, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your name? So if you want
I'm Duncan with Organogram. I think the importance of 420 has changed. Since legalization, it's shifted. Because now anybody can step in any day of the week to go through and pick up what they want.
Okay.
However, back when 420 was first around, it was more about being rebellious. It was more about celebrating the plant. Now it's more about just a day to celebrate with your friends.
Okay.
I think it's a very important day still, but do I think we need the whole hoopla of it anymore? Not anymore.
Okay. So 420, some people say 420 is most important now because the medical cannabis program seems to be, Health Canada seems to be ignoring the medical cannabis side of things. And 420 is needed to remind people that cannabis is a medicine opposed to substance of misuse.
I think that's a very interesting conversation there, because you're right. We're coming from a recreational point of view, right?
Sure.
I still think you're correct. I think there's a lot of stigma and misinformation and not as much light on the medical side of things.
Yeah.
So I think from a medical point, yes, 420 would be very important to still continue to talk about and continue to celebrate. But how do you do that?
How do you do that? As the manager of a rec shop, how many medical people come here for their medical cannabis?
Not many.
No.
And the couple who do only come if their medical cannabis didn't come in time, and they're just finding something to substitute it between when they're out. And it's really hard to find them something because it's not the same on the recreational market as it is on the medical market.
What isn't the same?
Strains that they're able to get on the medical market, they are coming in with strain specific things, and like not all the recreational companies have that. Even the ratios of CBD to THC in the capsules and oils, they're having very specific ratios, and we have a much smaller scale of what different ratios we have.
Well, and especially on the recreational side, things have changed. Now you can't, especially in Alberta, you can't necessarily find your low THC as much as you can.
Everyone wants the infused pre-roll.
It's your biggest bang for your buck. The most THC you can get for your McDonald's shoppers, as I kind of like to go through and call them.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, in the recreational market, that has changed, where you're not getting that lower dose or that White Widow cross where you could get something a little bit lower THC and more of a blend. So that's still very important for the medical side of things.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? This is the first time in 8 years that I've gone to a dispensary, and they've said that, because what I am finding is that most doctors are just people my age, the silver-haired crowd. They are going to the doctor saying, "I'm interested in cannabis," and they're saying, "Go to the rec store."
Yeah.
Right? So they're coming to the rec store interested in getting cannabis for medicinal purposes, but they're coming here because their doctors are ignoring them.
Yeah,
But,
and
go ahead.
there are a lot of people who come here with struggles, and they're wanting to talk about it, and they're like, I've been recommended to try cannabis, and I try my hardest to find them options in what we have. But it's very much people who haven't tried it before, and it is hard because we don't have as much low THC stuff.
Or you're not allowed to have that conversation.
Yeah. You have to be very particular about what you can talk about.
In rec, you need to be very careful and choose your words correctly and guide without guiding. Because of course you can't go through and say, yes, this will do this. Yes, this will be there for you. So unfortunately, when the prescribing doctor does that, it puts staff, it puts bartenders, managers in a pretty precarious spot. Because now they're expecting you to go through and have a conversation medically when you're not allowed.
Yeah, interesting.
Kirk, I like your 420 tour. We got lots of interesting people from a couple different places. That was a cool little road trip you took us on.
Yeah, I think 420, I mean, I've been talking about 420 that whole trip. There's little bits of me talking about 420. For our avid listeners that have gone through the last few episodes and the one coming, you're going to hear me discuss 420 because it was a common theme, because of course I left home on 420. So, Ted Smith discussed a little bit about 420 with me, and there it is. So, okay, people, this is the end of I guess part one of Kirk's road trip, and we'll go into part two next.
Yeah, that sounds good. So, because we forget it all the time off the
we
front,
didn't introduce ourselves.
I'm Trevor Shefelt. I'm the pharmacist. Who are you?
We got to remember to do this, man. I'm Kirk Nyquist. I'm a registered nurse, and this is Reefer Medness, the podcast.
Find everything Reefer Med at reefermed.ca or on all those socials at Reefer Medness. It was another good one. Well,
and there's going to be pictures. There's going to be pictures
of
on
Kirk
the website
all across Western Canada. We'll talk to everyone soon.
Check out the complete library of Reefer Medness episodes at reefermed.ca. And make sure to follow us on all the socials for bonus info on what Trevor and Kirk are up to.
Yeah. He's Sean Francis Drake. He is a performer, and he performs. Help me out here.
I don't know.
Scratches. He's
a DJ. DJ.
Oh, that's the word I'm looking for. He's a DJ.
Wow.